Well, the crowds were thick in the shadow of the Empire State Building this morning when a gunman sent tourists and pedestrians running for cover in the streets of Manhattan. While the shooter and his intended target both lost their lives, the hail of police bullets and the density of the crowds left 9 injured in the gunfight. And as ABC's Ron Claiborne has more of the latest details.
I just got shot. They're going to rush me to the hospital.
It is this scene today, a shooting in the shadows of the Empire State Building, one of the world's most iconic tourist attractions that sent thousands of visitors and locals running through the streets of New York City.
345 with 4 people shot.
Multiple people shot at that location, and shots still firing at this time.
The legendary landmark, visited by 4 million people each year, is now part of a crime scene.
I heard multiple gunshots. I'd say about 12 of them. I thought they were firecrackers at first.
Eyewitnesses describe the chaos and horror.
I saw a woman sitting up against the building with her foot who had been shot.
As they ran, multiple gunshots fired overhead.
It's around 9 o'clock in the morning. I was on the crosstown 34th Street bus.
Cyrus Balanleos watched in terror from a bus.
I heard 6 or 7 gunshots. I immediately looked up and I saw a stampede of, I would describe it as hundreds of people running north.
The incident left 2 dead and 9 injured, and countless bystanders in total fear. It all began at 9 o'clock in the morning when Jeffrey Johnson, who lost his job at a clothing importer a year ago, targeted his former colleague Stephen Ercolino.
A disgruntled former employee of a company at that address shot and killed a former co-worker, striking him 3 times.
Next, seen in this police surveillance video, the gunman calmly walked down 5th Avenue and pulled his weapon from a black bag, pointing it at the cops. Police believe Johnson tried to fire his weapon, but it jammed. Then officers shot him from about 8 feet away. The suspect went down in a hail of bullets as bystanders tried to run for cover.
As the 2 officers approached Johnson, he pulled his .45 caliber semi-automatic pistol from his bag and fired on the officers, who returned fire, killing him.
The cops shot Johnson from about 8 feet away. In the barrage of gunfire, 9 bystanders were hit by bullets.
I was just scared when I saw the whole thing. I was very scared.
Robert Asika was shot in the arm.
The way the guy was standing, there was no way it would have been the guy. It was the police officers that hit the people that got hit.
According to law enforcement, some or all of the wounded civilians were struck by police gunfire, but none have life-threatening injuries. They were hit by one of the 16 bullets or fragments from those rounds. They likely ricocheted off nearby flower pots. The police goal was met, saving innocent lives without taking any. Since 9/11, New York City has placed more police protection around its most prominent buildings, any that might be terrorist targets. Cops have no way to assess a shooter's motive initially or know how much of a threat that person is. Former Newark police officer John Shane says police are trained to what he calls neutralize the threat, even if bystanders might be at risk.
Now, if you happen to shoot someone and you hit them in the arm or the leg, and the threat is stopped at that point, deadly force is over.
But where are you aiming?
You're aiming center mass because it's the largest part of the body, and it's one of the areas that have a number of vital organs that are going to drop somebody's and cease the threat.
This is the 2nd fatal police shooting this month near a crowded Manhattan tourist site. Just 2 weeks ago, police shot to death a knife-wielding man near Times Square as horrified tourists watched and, in some cases, even videotaped it on their smartphones. Today's suspect acted on brewing animosity. Last year, before Johnson lost his job, he and Ercolino had a physical confrontation at work. Both men filed harassment reports with police. In his, Ercolino alleged that Johnson said, "I'll kill you." According to WABC, Johnson felt that Ercolino did not sell enough for the line of T-shirts he was producing. This dispute led to his layoff and ultimately erupted in violence today on a crowded city street. For Nightline, I'm Ron Claiborne in New York City.